That's Taiwanese medical culture for you. So does that answer your question?
Yeah, it does.
Yeah. Yeah. When I was in school, they would have us measuring stuff out, and I mean, feeling around, and it was just ridiculous. In Korea, that lady would just go, all right, if there's neck pain, needle here. If there's back pain, needle here. And I'd say, where? She says, anywhere. If you see him, jump, needle it again. It's just like that. Any other questions?
So,
Yeah,
Does
fire.
any of the formal Western insurances pay for that?
They pretty much all do.
Okay.
Yeah, at this point, there's a funny story that I can't remember her name. I should remember her name because she's important to acupuncturists. Do you guys remember the female insurance commissioner? She was 2 commissioners ago. I just can't remember her name right now. She had very bad back pain, and being the head insurance commissioner, she had access to basically the best that was there, and her back never changed. Acupuncturist fixed her. So within that year, she made it that you have to cover acupuncture in Washington State. Yeah, that's how that came to be. And that's why there's so much backlash against us. We're like the unwanted step-kid who just showed up to the party.
And BC is a big one with acupuncture.
They are,
It's amazing. And basic Chinese medicine,
Yeah.
with herbalists and so on. Because
Yeah.
I worked in Canada for a amount of time.
You see a lot of it. You know, even in England, they stopped paying for antidepressants and eczema and psoriasis treatment, and they only did the acupuncture and herbs for those things now. That was the first formal system which said we're not doing this anymore because it doesn't work, so we're going to do this Chinese stuff. So it's kind of interesting to see that take place. Yeah, it's pretty wild actually. Did you have another question?
so the needles themselves,
Mm-hmm.
is it like a one-time use, or you?
Oh, they're single use, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, even when I got into this in '94, the reusable needles were phased out. See, the problem with the old days is they would autoclave the needles, but every time you autoclave it, it builds up carbon.
Yes, and they get thicker.
Yeah, and they're not pleasant at all. But,
And
yeah,
dull.
dull.
Yes, not nice.
Yeah, when I went to Korea, the lady that was working with me, she just gave me my own needle set. She says, this is your needle set, guard it. And I said, okay. And I said, just reuse them? She says, yeah. She says, only on you though. And I was just like, that's great. So of course I went to the nearest city and bought like 1,000 of those things. But that's my own stuff. Any other questions?
Is the diameter and length of the needles, that varies?
Yeah, they're very tiny compared to a hypodermic. Like we use a standard 30 gauge, 1.5 inch needle. So they're very small. They're really tiny. Yeah, they're really almost like hairs. For my kids that we treat at the clinic, they're...
We treat children.
oh yeah, we see a lot of kids with skin conditions. Yeah, mostly skin and asthma and allergies. You know, I got my start in Bellingham treating allergies, asthma, and migraines in 2000. You know, I worked with a couple people, and then they told other people, and that's how we took off. But yeah, the kids get 38 gauge. I mean, those things are just, I mean, they are literally hair sized. But the kids are funny. You don't need to do too much, and they just respond so strongly.
Even eczema?
With eczema, it's all herbal. The acupuncture doesn't do anything for the eczema. Yeah, so if a kid comes in to see me, there's no needles with eczema. It depends. I work with a lot of the athletes too, both in high school, Western, and then professionally, so it just depends. But for any skin condition, 100% herbs. Yeah. Anything else? Question?
Yeah, my sister had some, I think, and I was like, oh, you're crazy and not paying attention to what she was really saying. But I honestly, they were in her like 24 hours or something. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Oh, the needles were?
Uh-huh.
Were they taped to the skin?
Hmm.
There's a branch of sports medicine where if she had a specific pain-related issue, they would actually put it under the surface of the skin. Do you guys remember the last Olympics? There was all this big stink about the Chinese gymnasts doing this. Yeah, it basically blocks those pain signals so you could keep going. And so that's why they do it. And so it was interesting because the Chinese were allowed to continue doing that because there was no drug involved. They said there's no drug, there's no range of motion, there's no other issue. And so it's still used today in China and some sports medicine clinics. I typically don't do that kind of work because to me it's just damaging the body, and so I stay away from it.
I'm gonna have to ask her.
Yeah.
I mean, the reason you have pain signals when you have an injury is to say it's hurt, you don't want to damage it more.
Yeah, that's why I don't use that technique.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it doesn't make sense to me. It's just like a metal cortisone shot. It just does, to me, doesn't make any sense. Yeah. Any other questions?
Dry needle therapy.
Yeah, dry needle therapy is a real hotbed in Washington State.
What do you call it?
It's called dry needle therapy. All dry needle therapy is have you guys ever heard of Janet Travell? She's a trigger point doctor. Well, Dr. Janet Travell, she was one of the first MDs to seriously look at acupuncture and go, well, all they're doing is needling into these trigger points for pain, which is part of what we do. And she came up with this trigger point manual therapy. And so what happened is the physical therapist, natural medicine or non-MD medicine is kind of like this incestuous family. This is a recording too, which is even more fun. so everybody's trying to steal from everybody else. It was like the chiropractors. We should be able to do acupuncture and whatever, 4 classes. The MD, same thing. We should do acupuncture in literally 4 classes. And so the dry needle therapy is the exact same thing. They'll put the PTs through 4 classes or whatever it is, and then have them doing needling. So it's basically needling with a syringe or an acupuncture needle without injection. So personally, I don't care. If they want to do it, knock themselves out. Because they'll all be putting it right here. And guess what happens when you do that?
Nothing.
Your feet don't hurt?
No, the back, at least half the time will flare up on you worse than it was. Yeah. So I studied with Mark Seam. He was one of the top needlepoint guys in the country. And I started to notice that our patients would come back to us with the same stuff over and over again. That's when I got into this classical Chinese. I said, I don't want to do the same garbage all the time, and you guys won't do it. You're not Chinese, right? If we're not helping you and we don't keep it away, it's not like you go, oh, I'm going to go see that weird guy again and we'll waste some more time. If you were Chinese, you'd waste your entire lives with me. Does that make sense? Any other questions?
Where are you located?
We're at Astor Street, 1303 Astor Street.
I have no idea.
I have a map up here, so I can give you some maps.
Okay.
Do you guys know the old, it's a
I'm sorry, I've lived here all my life, but I
Yeah.
have no idea.
Holly and Broadway. Holly and Broadway.
Oh,
Yeah.
got it,
Yeah.
okay. No
Go
problem.
right by
Kind
where?
of by the Rover building?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Okay, got it.
Yeah, we're right there. You guys ever eat at that Knox Thai restaurant?
Yeah.
Yeah, they're gone.
She's gone again.
I'm so
She's
bad.
very eccentric. All the businesses in the neighborhood.
Oh,
We
yeah,
all
they're there for a while.
we all hate her and we love her. But she's finally done. Like they're deconstructing the restaurant.
We tried talking to my daughter and
Yeah,
she's going to school to be a nurse now.
yeah, she wants to do that. So that's where we're located.
Okay.
So a question I have for you guys is, what we do when we do a talk like this is if you guys want us to check you out, do a pulse exam, we actually offer a free consultation. You guys can come in and just see what we do and how we do it. There's no strings, there's no cash. It's just if you guys want to check out our office. For us, we find it's a good introduction to what we do. When I opened in 2000, there weren't many professional clinics. And when I built my clinic from the ground up,